Let's be real, y'all. Connection isn't always about likes and DMs. In this one, we dive into the real stuff. We talk about relationships that nurture, challenge, and grow us. Check this out. Welcome back, everyone. Hey, what's up, girl?
Hello, Angie. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Excited to be back. This is going to be a good one.
It is. I'm excited. Welcome back, Purposeful family, to another Purposefully Packed episode. We definitely have a great episode for you all today. Before we get into it, as always, we like to catch up with Miss Candace. As you can see, looks like you are not at home today, ma'am. Where are you?
Well, I am out on a work trip. So I am now in Miami, near Miami, Florida. Doral, is it? I think, yeah, Doral. Some people call it
way down there.
Yes, way down there in South Florida. I have to go and present to a group of high school students tomorrow morning, bright and early tomorrow morning. So I am out here in the Sunshine State.
Okay.
Yes. And speaking of sunshine, y'all, let me show you this beautiful sunset that I was able to catch this morning just from my room. You want to see it?
Yes. Let me
show you. Let me show you. Here is the lovely sunrise that I was able to catch this morning. Y'all, I just love to, for one, I do think, I'm starting to get more in tune with nature, my environment, and just to see the sunrise. It was just an amazing moment. 7:00 in the morning, and it was just like, good morning.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Yes, girl. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing that with us, Candace. Yeah. And so I wanted to ask you because, I know that you do a lot with high schoolers, how has it been? Like, how is it when you are out there?
So
intimidating. I'm just thinking if I were, yeah.
And it's funny you say that because I just had to check a group of students so if anybody knows about the game Kahoot, it's where it's interactive. It's an online game where everyone can get on their phones and play online live. So I usually do that during my presentations. And there's this one student that put something inappropriate as his name. Okay. It was a picture of something like you catch my drift. It was something inappropriate. And I was like, look, y'all, we could take this game off. But
they tried it.
They tried, yes. And that happened last week. But yeah, other than that, the students, they're really cool. And I love how energized they are when I actually come and have dealerships with me to support my presentation. It's super cool. I love to see, you know how when you were back in high school, and someone was coming to present, it's a pretty cool thing. And I be bringing snacks and goodies for the students. I have prizes and giveaways, so it's just not just any ordinary presentation. They actually have something to look forward to. So it's always fun interacting with the young folks. How have you been, ma'am? What you been up to?
Well, I've been just, working. There's a lot of things that are in motion. I really can't say too much right now. But I did just celebrate 6 years in Georgia.
What?
Yes, girl. Just a couple days ago, made 6 years that I have been here in Georgia. And it went by so fast.
Angie.
Yes, when I tell you, so much has transpired in those 6 years, but when I tell you, a lot of it has been just me learning more about myself, and I have no regrets. I do miss Pittsburgh. I do miss my family, but I do not look to, there's no way I'm going back there. So, with that being said, I did want to just share a little snippet of my journey here. So this is from 2018. We are currently in, what is this called? Sylva, North Carolina. And we've been driving since Monday. We've made 2 stops along the way. We've had some interesting situations occur. Could absolutely have been worse. But yesterday we had to, oh, you hear Hammy going off. Yeah. We had to check into 3 different hotels because we needed one that was pet friendly. And we also needed one that had parking that could accommodate a 20-foot U-Haul with a SUV hitched on the back of it. So, been very interesting this far. And we will be arriving at our new home by a little after noon. So, we'll be able to see our new place and get ready to wait on the movers and start moving our stuff in. But I just wanted to capture a little moment of me driving. I still remember that like it was yesterday. So, yes, like that trip. And rest in peace, Hammy. I miss my cat, y'all. My cat passed away last year. But he definitely did like meow the whole time.
I heard him.
Yeah. And I mean, we got to Georgia. He literally didn't have any voice at all. Yeah, he didn't have no voice for a couple days. Poor thing. But it was interesting because that was during Hurricane Florence 2018. And so instead of us coming straight down the East Coast, right, that was actually in the direct path of the hurricane. So we actually had to come more inland, which was a longer route. But I had actually booked 3 hotels along that route because I knew I wasn't going to drive straight. So I just was like, this is going to be a 3-day journey. We're just going to explore, we're just going to take our time. And but when I got to one area, I want to say it was Asheville, was it North Carolina? Well, it was where the hotel was up on, like, it was really high elevated. So I had to go up like this windy hill with this 20-foot U-Haul with my SUV hitched. And it was very narrow, only to get up to the very tip top of this like mountain, if you will, to this hotel. And my SUV didn't have anywhere to park. There was nowhere for it to park. So I actually had to get one of the staff that works at the hotel to help me turn the U-Haul around so I could get back down the hill and go to another hotel that actually was a part of the same hotel chain, because I was using points. Let me just be clear. I was using points.
Can I get an alien?
Yeah, so they helped me. And plus, I don't think that one was pet friendly. It was just, we had a lot going on. But Hammy almost ran away. Like he hopped out the U-Haul at one point in time and tried to run away. It was this girl. But I'm so glad that I made that trek, and I would do it all over again. It was so worth it. Yeah, so 6 years in Georgia, and I'm so proud of taking that leap of faith. Yeah. Look, we would not be here.
Would not. That's the truth.
I cannot imagine what I would be doing if I were still back home in Pittsburgh. Nor do I want to, because we are looking forward. And speaking of looking forward, we're going to move on with this episode because we have a lot to get into, starting with what is going on in the news right now. So you all probably have heard about Sean P. Diddy Combs. He was recently indicted on a number of charges, everything ranging from, I don't want to say the word, but trafficking of sorts. There is some racketeering involved, um, some essay. There's just, I mean, and we all know Cassie, she had filed her civil case last year, and that kind of opened up Pandora's box. And they had been investigating for some time, and they finally had arrested him in New York just a few days ago. So what are your thoughts, Candace? How do you see this whole thing playing out?
The way that I see it, you reap what you sow. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised. It's really unfortunate because, and I was playing around and joking last season when we were listening to Danity Kane, because I was a huge Danity Kane fan. I was also a huge Cassie fan as well. I did not know that she was being, physically or, essayed. I did not know, but I thought that there was some type of control. There was some type of dynamic there, considering her age, the age difference, and also just her being, young and vulnerable, as a female in the industry, the power dynamic. But when I was talking about Danity Kane, I just remember watching Making a Band and just always feeling like the way that he talked to them was inappropriate because they were so young. And it was hard to watch. I always had, compassion for all of them. And when I saw Dawn Richard end up, joining the group Dirty Money with him and Kalina Thompson, I believe her last name is, I was quite shocked, actually. Really surprised that she did. But again, not knowing what's going on the inside or how they arrived at that point, I figured, obviously they had to make amends. They got beyond the Making the Band differences and they have moved on. But even she recently has filed a civil lawsuit against him as well for similar abuse allegations, which is really, really sad. So I just wanted to bring that up because our episode today is really all about finding real connection in a superficial world. And it just makes you really, make you want to really think about who you associate yourself with and who you get into relationship with, because, there are many people that are in abusive relationships right now. There are people that are, trapped and not able to get out of those relationships because they did not properly vet, before getting into those relationships. So, yeah. So what do you think, Candace? I mean, as we talk about dating and the dating pool and just the quality of people that are out there these days, what are your thoughts?
For one, I'm really happy we're about to talk about this because I'll be honest, a lot of my close female friends are having issues in the dating realm right now. I wish I could say the majority of my friends, well, I'm not even going to say that. I think back in the day, you might have had it to where more people were married and relationships, I guess, were more valued to be taken seriously. But now it's like, hey, it's just a relational playground or a sexual playground right now. So I'm just excited with what we're about to discuss because we about to get real.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we've actually touched on this in season 2 a little. We talked about like terms of BLV, right? We were talking about just the quality of people that, sometimes if you're bored and lonely and you're not being intentional about the people that you have around you, you can end up, again, in the wrong places with the wrong people. So we also hear a lot of conversation online about this dating pool and how there is pee in the dating pool. Candace?
Yes.
Can we get a visual on this? I mean,
Girl, literally.
Literally, This is what I hear we are dealing with. Unbelievable.
Oh gosh. Yes, so that's one visual. So here's another diagram of what it's like to be in this dating pool, y'all. Take a look at this if you can, or if you're driving. I mean, look, make sure you rewind the podcast and look at this diagram. Okay. On the left side, the red circle says attractive, the green circle says available, and the purple says sane. So just imagine, like, according to what this chart is saying, if you are considered attractive and available, then the only person that's probably available to you is your ex. It says your crazy ex. If you are attractive and have sense and you're sane, then you're probably married. 9 times out of 10, everyone is thinking that you're married. If you are sane and you are available, then they're saying you just look hideous. Isn't that something? Now, if you have all three, if you are attractive, if you are available, and if you are sane, then they're saying you are just imagining your dream partner.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Angie, what do you think about that?
First of all, whoever created that diagram, I mean, shout out to them, because I mean, I love that, those three, just the criteria, this, obviously we want someone who's sane, the attractiveness, of course, we want that. And then the other one was,
I can put it back on the screen.
Available. We want them to be available. At the bare minimum, right? I think all of us want those three traits, minimum. The humor in it, I love the humor. Okay, you got to put a little bit of humor in there. So I love that. But the reality is that if all of us want these three things as our most basic criteria, then I understand now why there's so many people in the same dating pool. Because we're stopping right here. Like, for many people, this is just it. This is it. If you're sane, if you look good, and you're single. Think about it. If we just think about even online dating, if you're online, that implies that you're available. Your profile most likely says you're available. If you might be sane if you're online. You might be. That's the one thing that we actually have to actually go on a date with you, talk to you, to actually get to know if you are actually sane. But we can kind of tell by the way that your profile's set up and the things that you say. We can kind of get an understanding if you're sane a little bit, just a little bit. And then attractive, of course, the pictures. But that's it. That's the only criteria. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have a variety of different personalities, attributes, experience, wants, needs. And so I just think that that's how we all wound up in the same dating pool. And that's the reason why it's so murky. So I just really felt that this conversation was so important, because if sometimes you have to step out of that pool until you figure it out, it is best and safe to just get out of that pool until you get some clarity on what pool you actually need to be in before you dive back into another pool. It's best to just step out and figure it out. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about how do you figure out what pool you need to be in.
Let's get into it.
Boy. All right. So Candace, just thinking of the analogy of pools, right? We always talk about this big old pool that everyone is in. But I don't know. I start thinking like, well, you know how you go to a public pool and they got like the little kiddie pool. And, the only people that's over in the kiddie pool are like the kids and the parents who have kids. So like people like, that don't have no kids shouldn't be over in the area where the kids are, right? You would think.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because that is a very specific area for specific people.
Right.
And those people generally are happy in that area as long as the people that aren't supposed to be over there ain't over there. Another thought, You ever go on a cruise or on vacation and they have like the serenity area for adults only? And
Yes.
kids can't go over there, because if the kids
Right.
start going over there, then it takes away from the purpose of that designated area. It no longer is,
Exactly.
right? So
Yep.
it's the same thing. I'm like, with dating, I think that we owe it to ourselves to define, or first of all, figure out what it is that we need, what it is, who we are, what it is
Yep.
that we need, and then finding that pool. You know, I
I
don't want to say
agree.
creating that pool, but I mean, hey,
I agree.
find defining what that pool looks like so that you can navigate to that pool, and then the person that is meant for you will be right there waiting, or at least viable candidates will be multiple candidates that fit the criteria that should be in that pool, that got the right wristband on for that pool, that ain't trying to sneak up in that pool, ain't supposed to be there, but they'll be there. It really is about figuring out who you are first. And sometimes you just have to take yourself completely out before you dive back in. So, um, what do you think when it comes to placing values first? Um, do you think that that will change the size of the dating pool? And if so, in what ways?
So I love the fact that you said it really depends on who you are, your values, what you like, what you don't like, and figuring out exactly which one of those values apply to you, right? And for me, it really hit me to my core when you said that, because in the season that I'm in, I recently transitioned out of a long term relationship, and I really do not think I know who I am to the T. I still feel like I'm figuring it out. I
Mhm.
still feel like I'm still trying to define what values really are dear to me, Candace Mabry, me. Yes, I know like what I like to do, what I don't like to do. But to actually, if a person were to ask me, okay, what are your top 10 values? I could give them probably a good five, but 10,
Yeah.
I think I need to do some more journaling, some more digging, and actually studying. Okay, what is considered, a value? What are some examples of values? So I do need to dive a little deeper in that realm for
Yeah.
me.
Well, I
Yeah.
love that you said that. And as we said, like the title of this episode is really relationship alignment, and finding real connection in a superficial world. Because just because the world has become so superficial with, everything online isn't what it appears to be, doesn't mean that we have to set our standards at, a shallow, criteria. Like, we still have the ability to have, you know um value deep connection. There's nothing
Yep.
wrong with that. There's always going to be someone else out there that has those same values, and that's what's important, is that as long as you are showing that you truly value that and you stand in that, then that's how you're going to be able to align with those same people. So speaking of relationship alignment, like, what does that mean to you when you hear relationship alignment?
When I hear relationship alignment, I hear friendship. I hear likeliness. Like, I hear um a strong bond, relationship alignment. You all are aligned, and it's just not, there's no confusion on what you're working on. Like, you all have similar visions, especially when it comes to long-term goals. That's how I view it. What about you?
Yeah, the same. I feel like when it comes to relationship alignment, it is, if you're both single and you're looking for a true connection, like your life partner, that's the first thing, is knowing what it is that you're seeking. Some people are just seeking a fling. Knowing what you want and stating what you want is first and foremost. You have to be able to put it out there. If you are looking for this is men, you're looking for a wife, let it be known that that's what you're looking for. And also act accordingly. Okay. Because if you're looking for a wife, you're not going to be doing certain things. You're not going to be, engaging with certain people in certain spaces.
Right.
Same thing with women. Women, if we want husbands, same thing. We have to set that intention, and we're not going to be engaging in certain activities, certain spaces, because that's just not what wives do.
No.
We have to be wives and husbands before we meet our partners. So I think that relationship alignment really is about setting the intention, walking in that long before your partner comes along, and yeah, just really being first and foremost aligned with who you are and what your values are, and then that way, when that person comes along, you're able to have that connection, and it's seamless and it's not forced, and yeah. And
Yes.
it's very possible when we start with us inside. So we always talk about how people can have like these physical attractions, and of course online, especially dating online, guys like, and I'm so sorry guys, I'm not trying to bash any men, but there's this rumor out there that online dating for men is like, what do they say, Candace? Like guys just go online like looking for.
Yes, I consider it a sexual playground for a lot of them. It's like, look at your pic, welcome to the candy store. Okay, which ones are you? Okay, she looks okay. See,
right.
If she'll take your bait.
Yeah.
It's
because men are, they are really into the physical, right?
Yep.
However, this is where, and again, I don't want to say that women were not, attracted to men. Men can be easy on the eye as well. But when you get to a point where you're really trying to find your life partner, you've got to be able to look beyond that. You can't put that as the primary or the first checkbox, if you will. You can't, that's working backwards, because there are so many physically attractive people, right? You're going to put yourself in that large pool. You're going to work backwards. And I mean, there's this thing called reverse engineering. And I truly believe that can work in dating too. But we're going to talk about core values and how reverse engineering, when it comes to dating, what that looks like.
Ooh.
When it comes to core values. So let's talk about it. It starts within, right? Let's not look outward to the other person. Let's start within ourselves. So what are the things that are important to us? Those are our core values. The things like our beliefs, our spiritual beliefs, the things that keep us grounded, the things that matter the most to us, like family, service, commitment, Then after that, it's our intelligence, our education, the experiences we have, our wisdom. Then after that, our interests, what are the things that we like to spend our time doing? What activities are we involved in? What are our lifestyle choices? Do we go to the gym? Do we work out? Are we vegan? Do we like to travel? And then lastly, the physical attributes. What do you look like? Do you wear weave? Are you all natural? Is he bald? Does he have a beard? Does he have a six-pack? Because those are the things that change. The things on the outside, those are the things that change. And if we work our way, like I was saying, reverse engineering, we start inside and work our way out. The things that are inside us, those are the things that keep us grounded. Those are the things that we stand on. Those are the things we stand for. If we meet someone who is aligned with those things are likely to keep us connected longer, more than the way that we look, because our appearance can change over time. Our appearance can change, heck, next week. A person could be honestly diagnosed with cancer and have to, shave their head. So if their long, beautiful, natural hair was the thing that hooked you, you were gone off them because they had this beautiful flowing long hair, and now they no longer have it. How is that going to affect you? Right? Same thing with a man. If a man was, tall and strong and muscular, and then all of a sudden, he's involved in an accident or something, and he's no longer that strong, if that's all you were attracted to, not the qualities and all these things, you weren't aligned. So the goal, like I said, with that, the core values, starting there and working your way out, I believe is the best way to be able to get the most authentic connection, the one that's going to be sustainable. And I think that that's truly how you can be what we say, in Christianity, as equally yoked. When we talk about equally yoked, we talk about spirituality. That is the most deepest part of you as a human being, is your spirit. So if you are not aligned spiritually, all the other stuff doesn't even matter. That's like the core. So Candace, what are your thoughts on the core values and how they align?
My thoughts are, I actually have a question.
Yes.
Because for one, I do think you're absolutely right. Yes, looking at the physical attributes, I mean, that's what everyone sees at first. And yeah, it's important to a certain extent, because I mean, it's a little shallow ended. Like, if you only dating people based off of how they look, how far are you really going to get? But my question is, because I was just having a conversation with a dear friend of mine, how do you vet the people that have, I guess, really good character? Or I guess, yes, you want to find people that mirror the same values that you do, but it's like, how do you go about vetting to see whether, okay, I think this person is truly genuine in a person?
At Pretty Purposeful Events, event planning meets social impact. We plan, we host, we build community. Grounded in service, guided by values. From youth empowerment events to community outreach, we create spaces that bring people together with purpose. Let's create something purposeful together. Pretty Purposeful Events is based in Atlanta, Georgia, proudly serving nonprofit and community-based organizations nationwide. Virtual services available. For more information, visit us online at prettypurposefulevents.com.
Yeah, I mean, again, one thing that I'm learning, and this is why I'm able to be single and be okay with being single and patient, is because I truly do believe that when you do meet someone that you are aligned, not just spiritually, but like I said, working your way out, the things that your level of emotional intelligence, your level of intelligence, you don't have to know exactly what they know, but you're able to connect with them on that level. You're able to have, intelligent conversation. You're, mentally stimulated. If that's what you need in a relationship, that's going to be important. If you're lacking that, you're going to go outside of the relationship to find it, right? So again, that's important. If that's important to you. Now, someone who may not be intellectual, they might be intimidated by someone who is intellectual, and they might be attracted to them physically, but if they try to get into a relationship with them, they may actually end up trying to sabotage that person. I've been in that situation, and I know, listen, I could be attracted to you all day, baby, but if you don't stimulate me here, you are not going to get here. Okay. I learned that over time. So to answer your question, I think that those individuals, when they are truly ready for commitment, they will honor and respect that value as well. And they won't play games. If you have someone who you have to be skeptical about, let's say you do have an intelligent man that, has the same, they're spiritually grounded. They're intelligent. They let's just say they have, some similar interests. The vetting is over time, through conversations, through spending time together, through their actions. It's literally, you do have to put the time, and that's what vetting is about. Vetting literally is not an overnight process. You do have to give it some time. That's it. That's truly, and there's no magic number. There's no magic amount of time. But I think the more aligned you are, I think you both will realize the value in finding someone who connects with you on such a deep level that you're not going to want to risk missing the opportunity to be with that person, because you don't know if you're ever going to meet somebody else that is that aligned with you on that level again. Now, the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, they are attractive. If y'all are attracted to one another on top of all of that, baby, y'all better go ahead and get the marriage license. You better go ahead and do the thing. And I mean, when you find a good thing, yes, put a ring on it and quit playing. This is what I'm saying. So, yeah, to answer your question, I think it's really about both individuals knowing what it is that they truly want, knowing who they are, and aligning themselves with that. And that's why this is so important, this conversation. So one thing I know, I learned from the great motivator, Les Brown, is that quality people, it matters, especially when you're seeking to have quality relationships. You have to have quality people. You yourself have to be a quality person, right? So I did want to be able to, I wanted to share a little snippet of the great motivator, Les Brown.
Number one, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number two, practice OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Third thing he said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are.
Woo! Oh, honey, he dropped. Where is the
mic drop?
The bell of truth now.
Yes, the bell of truth.
Yes, I mean, what the first thing he said when he said, "You don't get what you want, you get what you are." You better find out who you are. You better find out who you are. And that's why, Candace, I always tell you, I don't mind being single. I don't mind being single. I don't mind finding out more and more of who I am. I want to be the best version of me that I can be, so that when my husband, my soulmate, my life partner, the person I'm destined to be with comes along, that we will mirror one another. We will be so aligned. He will be like, where have you been all my life? And I will say to him, despite the other relationships that I have had, the ones that I have spoken and said, oh, this one was so great. It will be like they never even existed.
Missed the beat. Like,
right. Honestly, because I speak from a perspective of where I am and where I've been, not where I'm going. Right. So, and then he said, as far as OQP, quality people, the earnings, that right there, I feel it says something about the quality of your life. You may not have the same title, the same skills, but how is your work ethic? How are you showing up in the world? How are you, productive in your life? What are you producing? I consider you to be a quality person. This is how this partnership came about, right? This is why we are able to do this so effortlessly, right? And I don't know your salary, but I imagine that we are within that, and I wouldn't let, people around that really, closely who weren't, because to me, I feel once you get into a certain income level, there's a certain level of experience, professionalism, education, intelligence, right?
Yep.
And then he said communication. Hey, I'm not the best speaker. I did a whole episode on it in season 1. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It talks about the lack of communication within marginalized communities. And that's because that's where I came from. And then if you grew up in a marginalized community, it wasn't really valued. If you spoke with big words, you were looked down upon, like you thought you were better than someone. So you tried not to speak too properly. Oh, she's trying to sound like she's white. She's trying to sound like she's too proper. I've been told that before. However, as you grow, as you mature, as you become more experienced, you learn that the better you communicate, the more doors open, the more opportunities, the more access you gain. Right?
That is so true.
That includes dating pools. You get more access to more pools. Right. So, Candace, I'm going to turn it over to you, sister. What are your thoughts on OQP?
OQP is so important because if you're not surrounded by people that have really, I would say, vision, honestly, I'm like, what are you doing? It's just when you have a vision, when you have purpose, when you have something that you're working towards and people alongside you, it's just like two peas in a pod. It just you align, whether it's your friends or with your relationships, your partners. I remember hearing Lateris off of the Dear Future Wifey podcast mention how he's now referring to what he wants in his wife as a purpose partner. That's what he wants, a purpose partner. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to have that because I know what it's like to be, I guess, even friends with a person that isn't aligned. You're just going to waste time. One thing I do know about myself is I'm not big on clubbing. I'm not big on
wasting time.
Now, I do have an issue with scrolling social media. I will admit. I'm like, look, I have to catch myself when I'm on YouTube scrolling the reels. I'm like, wait a minute now, this has got to stop. Okay. But yeah, that's definitely wasting time. But no, seriously, quality people.
Yeah,
it is worth your while, even if you don't even see the value in it just yet. But surrounding like we were just mentioning this, if you are the smartest person in your circle, that is a problem. That's a problem. You need to be growing. We were just having this conversation, Angie. If you are the most intelligent person in your closest circle, you might want to switch it up a little bit. Because you want to be growing.
Yeah. And that's what I said as far as our partnership. And it's so funny you said that because yes, with your spouse, right? No matter who they are, like whatever their purpose is, like you definitely want to be aligned. And I love how Latira said purpose partner. I'm all for that. I always call you my partner in purpose because this podcast is all about purpose. And so it is an example of what friendships and friends in purpose as a purpose partner, what that looks like. It's similar. It's because the alignment, it's because of that, the core and the alignment. But yeah, it should be the same way when you're in a romantic relationship. The only difference is it's that commitment. It's a different type of relationship, but at the core, you're aligned. And so whatever it is whatever vision the husband has, he's leading and, or, just even if you are the wife and you have the vision, he's supporting, maybe he comes into the situation, maybe he doesn't have the clear vision just yet, but y'all are so aligned that he can step right on in and contribute. And y'all are both, contributing to a greater purpose together. And that is the goal. That's the goal. No matter how big or how small it may be something, and I don't want to discount something like even raising a family.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a situation where you was a single mom and, you know, you meet a guy and he's always wanted to have children, but he comes in, steps in, and he now has filled the role and has a purpose of being a father to your children. And, you know, y'all make a great family. Y'all are great partners as parents. You know, that could be the purpose. But as
Right.
long as y'all are aligned and that's something that y'all have, you know, intended to do and you're both aligned in that, it could be just as simple as that. Because not everybody's out here trying to start a business. Not everybody
Right.
out here trying to start a podcast. Not everybody out here is trying to be service oriented in terms of outreach to the world. It could be something as simple as being a pillar in your family. Y'all could be the family, the unit that comes together and represent what it looks like to be a healthy family and be the anchor in your family, right? But you can only do that when you're aligned. And I'm standing on that. So that's why I said when you're confident, when you know you're not going to feel pressure to go out and just go date just to be dating. You're not going to be pressured to go get online and join online dating sites just to see what's out there. See if you're, what is it? FOMO, fear of missing out. What did I tell you earlier, Candace? I said,
You don't even get on Facebook. You don't even entertain Facebook dating.
like I'm on Facebook, but I ain't on Facebook dating. I'm not on any dating site. Actually,
Yeah.
because like I've taken myself out of that dating pool. Why? Because I feel like the man that is for me is not even going to be in that dating pool. He's not even looking for me. He's not looking for a wife in that dating pool because he does not want the quality woman that he wants. He doesn't even want that type of, he doesn't even want a woman who would be willing to be in that dating pool. This is all I'm saying.
Y'all heard it first from the Angie.
This is from my perspective now. This is not everybody. Everybody got, you know, like we were saying, would you say a needle in a haystack? Sometimes it can work out, but the risk is great because it's a needle in the haystack. Odds are stacked against you, right? You're taking a great risk. And I mean, many of us women have had that experience. We've taken the great risk and we have not won the reward. We have not won. So I have had the experience of the online dating. I know, and I have not reaped the reward. I've not won. So that is not for me. That's not the medium for me presenting myself to where my husband can find me. That's not the medium for me to be presented. God is telling me that's not for me. My husband is going to find me in some other way, doing what I'm supposed to do in my purpose, walking in my purpose. My husband's supposed to find me. That's what God told me. Because anything else would be me forcing and putting myself out there to be preyed upon by people who are not aligned. I'm putting myself back in that murky, you know, the pee-pee pool. And I don't have to. I don't have to. That's optional. Ooh. We all have that choice. Men and women, we all have the choice. We don't have to step into the murky waters of the online dating. It's a choice. You choose to go in there, you proceed with caution.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories about the online dating, and sometimes it does feel like, wow, it's going to be like a needle in a haystack finding the right one in the online dating pools. So,
yep. So this was, wow. We could definitely do another episode on this topic, Candace. We definitely can. And we probably do. Yeah.
Okay. But I wanted to have a guest.
Yes, but I wanted to share with our purposeful family another visual just to kind of reel everybody back in and kind of lock this in. Let's talk about the difference between, like, we talk about finding real connection in a superficial world. Well, superficial means surface. The word superficial literally means surface. So we're talking about finding real connection. That means we have to go beneath the surface. So right now, if you're looking at the screen, you're seeing an anchor. That's what you want. You want to find connection that is that deep so that when things happen in your relationship, when life happens in relationships, that it's not going to shake that relationship. It's not going to, you know, you will have such a strong bond because you will be tethered and you'll be anchored by the things that are so meaningful to both of you, that the storms of life are not going to break you apart. You know, the little people on the sidelines that got their little stuff to say, or the people on the side that are trying to entice you to cheat or distract you or whatever, are not going to be enough to break apart your bond, because the way that you connect is on a level that they can't replace that. They can't compete with it. And it's not about, oh, she looked better than her, or she got bigger butt than her, or she got better, whatever. It's going to be so deeply aligned that you're going to be like, dang, that's my person. That's my homie. I was saying, remember I was saying, like, let's say, you know how guys have, like, you know, guys have their guy stuff that they like to do. But let's just say a guy has found a woman who has an interest in one of his hobbies that, you know, let's just say golf or bowling, whatever. But maybe that's a hobby that he has that his homies ain't into. His boy homeboy ain't into it, but that's what he likes to do. And he done found a woman that he can enjoy his woman while doing what he loves. Like, I love basketball. I'm just gonna put it out there. I love basketball. I would love to be with someone who loves basketball like I do, because I don't have, like, Candace, we never went to the basketball court and shot no hoops. I don't have any girlfriends that
I don't care for basketball.
Right. It's not that. I mean, there are women out there. I'm sure there are women out there that play basketball.
Yes.
I have not had any friends that I've just played basketball with. I haven't. So that's one of those things that, now my ex-husband, we used to play basketball. But I'm just saying, those are the things that you need to, like, it would be, if you were able to connect on that level and do the things that you enjoy, and it's something that you really enjoy, like, your homies couldn't even get you away from your woman. Like, no, I'm good because I'm over here playing golf or I'm playing bowling with my woman, because y'all don't want to do that. So the guy or the woman would be less likely to want to be with, you know, not saying you still can't hang out with your friends, but it wouldn't be a situation where, like, the man is trying to escape the woman because he's trying to go do what he likes to do. But it's more like, no, I could actually split my time up where I can hang with my boys every so often, but I'm going to be spending a lot more time with my person because they have similar interests, you know? And that's a beautiful feeling. It's like, let me just give you another example. I'm not a gamer, but let's just say there are some gamers out there. Guys, if you find a woman that games, I mean, come on now.
You struck gold.
You struck gold, you know, especially if she cute on top of that. And then listen, she intelligent. Don't be into technology. Y'all both some techies. Let me just throw it out there. I'm a techie. But no, if you have found someone that have similar interests, it makes a huge difference. It truly does. Because that, to your core, that's not going to change. 10, 15 years from now, you're still going to like those things. So, yeah, it definitely matters. So before we wrap this episode up, Candace, I'm just going to ask you, if you had to be stranded on a deserted island with someone, what are some of the qualities? Like, let me just ask you this. Do you think in dating that envisioning that person on a deserted island, do you think that's a good way to help you with your vetting process, envisioning if you could be on a deserted island with them?
It is. I think it's a good way to vet the right person. I love the analogy that you use, that what if you were stuck on an island with your partner? Could you really withstand all that time? No entertainment, but the water is at hand, or the seashells that come on the shore. that's a really good way to really see, am I really with this person because I love this person? I really genuinely like this person. Like the looks not going to matter. Um,
Title,
your
the
title,
money.
the money, your status is not going to matter. What going to matter is, who you are. Because let me tell you, if you don't have a good work ethic, we're not going like, we're going to be on an island. I'm going to need you to be willing to go find some
Can
food.
can you protect me? Or are you going to be scared somewhere?
Yes.
I need to know these things. I need to be able to trust.
I'm telling you, you're not going to leave me high and dry on the island if you were to find somebody.
Girl, a mermaid from dang on where.
I love that analogy. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's simple, but it's a practical way to, even for people who are currently in relationships. I mean, for those of you out there, purposeful family, who are in current relationships, think about that for a moment. And I'm not trying to, don't want to break up no happy homes. But if you're in a situation where you have been wondering if things have not been working out, or you're wondering why you're, butting heads, or there's conflict, or you just don't feel aligned, really ask yourself. Or if you're in a dating process and you've been seeing someone for a while and you're trying to figure out, is this person the one or not? Ask yourself, if that person didn't have the title, the money, the looks, the status, and because if you're on a stranded island, none of that matters. Nobody can see their looks but you. The money doesn't matter because it's useless. Their title doesn't matter. It's just you and them. Heck, let's take it back to Adam and Eve. Y'all ain't got no clothes on. So it don't even matter what his style is, honey. It don't matter if he's wearing Gucci or not, okay? Okay. Would you be able to enjoy his company? Would y'all be, listen, I want to be on a deserted island with a person who I can just be in their presence, and we ain't even got to say nothing to one another. We can just look at each other and just be in peace and joy. And I can sing to him. And heck, if he's the right one, even if he can't sing, he going to try to sing back to me, because he going to know that that's going to make me smile. Little things like that. Those are the things that really, really matter. So before we close out this episode, Candace, any closing thoughts?
I'm talking to myself when I say this, but especially if you're single, don't get discouraged. Yes, we hear a lot of our friends talk about how it's been some horrible dating experiences, but I do believe that there are still good people, still decent people out there, okay? And I don't want to sound arrogant, but let me say, just by some of the friends that I have, like, for example, Angie, she is OQP, quality people, okay? I view myself as a quality person, and some other of my close female friends, quality people that are single. All right. Yes, they're females. I actually have, males that I know that are quality males. So just don't get discouraged. There's hope.
There is. And I love what you said. Candace, because as you were saying it, I'm thinking, like, there are really a lot of quality people out here. And it's really sad when relationships don't work out, because it can make people feel like they weren't quality, they weren't good enough, And it's like, no, you just were not aligned with the right person. That's what it boils down to, So we just want to thank you all for tuning in during this episode. Amazing episode. We really hope that you all grabbed some good takeaways from this. Let us know what you all thought in the comments. Just to remind you all what we discussed in this episode, we talked about the importance of getting to know yourself first, making sure that you vet based on your values, and also just some of the characteristics and traits that you'd like to see in your partner. But like Les Brown said, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. I think that when it comes to values and character, those are the things that we really need when it comes to relationships. And things like interest and, the outer, that part of the circle, the outer, the interest and the physical appearance and things, those are our wants. So as much as we may want to go after those things first, it's going to be better that we go for the inner qualities first.
All right. Yeah. So that was a really, really good summary of everything that we discussed, Angie. I do want to remind you all, look, we are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you have not subscribed or liked or commented or even engaged with us, please do so. We actually go through and read through anything that you all, engage us with, or whether it be a like, a comment. We appreciate it truly and dearly. Also, if you are interested in becoming a guest,
we have some really awesome guests coming up this season, you guys. We're excited. We are trying to, mix things up. We're loving the new platform. We hope that you are as well. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let us know. Hit us up in the DM. Give us some suggestions on different topics you want to hear us do. We are just, really trying to grow the platform, obviously. So share if you know anybody that would benefit from hearing these purposeful conversations. Definitely let them know. Tell them to subscribe, join our purposeful community. And we look forward to seeing you all back here next week. And as always, it's okay to be pretty,
but even better to be pretty purposeful.
Bye.